Welcome. Welcome to the lesson on meaning and beliefs. This is a really powerful lesson and one of the foundations of actually learning to love yourself and therefore love your life. And it all stems from the discovery that actually that make things mean, the meaning that we place on events in our own lives, is actually not so much true as just a habit of how we put things together. So for example, let me start with a story. Imagine you and I are friends and you walk down the street and I walk right past you and I don't say anything to you. I just keep walking. Well, if that happened, how would you feel? How would you interpret that? Many people and many of my clients, most of my clients and many of my friends say that they would straight away think, what have I done wrong? Why is Carolyn upset with me? Isn't that interesting? But the small minority say, oh, look at Carolyn, she's struggling with something. She's overwhelmed with something so much or so busy with thinking about something that she didn't see me. She must really need a bit of support right now. Now imagine your response if that was your interpretation. Totally different way that you would approach me and our relationship compared to if you were worried about what you'd done wrong and were trying to think what you'd said or done to offend me. Isn't that fascinating? But it was just the same event. We walked past each other. I didn't say hello. So what happens is scientists tell us that our brains are bombarded with as many as up to 2 million pieces of stimulation per second. That's crazy, right? I mean, imagine going down the supermarket aisle. Every single box, every single label, every single price ticket, they're all screaming at you, not to mention all the signs and the flashing lights and the aisle this, aisle that, and announcements happening over the loudspeaker, people talking as you try and get past them. There's so much. We get totally bombarded. If we looked at every single piece of shop things in the shop, we would never get finished the shopping. It would take us ages just to get through one aisle. So we do things like generalize. We look down and we go, yep, that's cereals, breakfast cereals. I don't need that today. And we'll keep walking. Dog food, I don't have a dog. Keep walking. By doing that, we've actually deleted a whole lot of information that's coming to us. We've totally ignored it because it's not relevant to us. We've filtered it out. But then tomorrow we might buy a puppy. Suddenly the dog food aisle is not only interesting to us, but it's brand new. We don't even know what to feed this dog. So then we're looking at every single packet. Which ones are good for puppies? Which one's good for my particular sort of puppy? But once you get into a routine, then you just go to the particular packet and keep moving. Isn't that interesting? But we do that in our relationships and we even do that in how we treat ourselves. And that's where it gets most powerful. So the thing that happens is we have an experience. The experience leads us to think about it and we come up with a particular interpretation. Once we've had that particular interpretation, then we look for evidence to support the interpretation that we have. And once we find that interpretation, we will find some evidence, then we use that evidence to reinforce the belief. And then once our emotions get hooked into that, then that turns into meaning that we make about the situation. So, what does all that lead to? Well, if we look at the different beliefs that we have, the question isn't, is that true? Because any belief that you have, you will always find evidence for it. So for you, it will always be true. And someone else will be in exactly the same situation, but for them, the opposite might be true, or some different thing altogether might be true. So instead of saying to your beliefs, is this true? I invite you to ask, is this useful? Is this empowering me? So, for example, let's think of something that you're struggling with, a behavior that you want to change. So I'm just going to use exercise because that's one that I've battled for years, and I still work hard to try and get enough exercise each day. Even the decision, what is enough exercise each day, will be different for each person watching this video. So let's say for me that enough exercise each day is walking or swimming or doing something physically active for half an hour a day. It's the aerobic part, ignoring stretching and strengthening. So that's my goal. That's my belief. Now, I might think, oh, that's a real struggle to get to that point. Why would I think that's a struggle? Well, it could be that for many, many years I've never been a sporty person, and that's just something that's outside my comfort zone, and I have to make an effort to actually go out and walk or swim or run or do something to move my body. Whereas for someone else, they might just think, hey, that's easy. I always walk to work and back each day, and they're doing half an hour of walking without even thinking about it. So the first step is to say, what is the behavior I want to change? And then the next thing is to say, what am I already believing about that behavior? Once you've decided that, then the next step is that helping me, or is something else possibly true? Once you've thought about that, then you can start thinking, what would be a more helpful belief? And you might also want to explore, where did this belief start from? When did I first start struggling to do exercise? What age was I? What was happening then? And you might come back to a situation. You might actually work out what was the event that caused you to create the belief in the first place that I'm not good at exercise, or that this is a struggle. If you're wanting help with that, then this is a really good, juicy thing that we can do one-on-one. I can work with you one-on-one in one session or in a number of sessions, working through various different things that you might be struggling with in terms of behaviors, and looking at what are the beliefs and the meanings that you're putting underneath it to help you to shift and get the insight that you need to change the beliefs. So let me just share my screen. So at the moment, you're struggling with a particular activity, what behavior, and I'm inviting you to question, what is the belief underneath that, to gain some awareness about what's happening, and then to actually start thinking, which we'll do in a second, what's something that you can say to yourself which will change that belief, and that would change from aware to starting to manage it, which is helping you to move up the ladder. So we're working on from the first to the second, maybe even to the third in the exercise today. So as I said, the exercise, this is in more detail, and this will be in your handout. What is one behavior you want to change? It could be anything. It could be to do with work, relationships, health, personal life, hobbies, goals, anything at all. What do you believe about this behavior? You might want to actually get a pen and paper and do a bit of journaling about this, or just think about it as you have a walk or a shower or anything like that. Step back in time. When did you first struggle with this behavior? If you can, what happened at that time? And what did you believe back then? Sometimes early experiences can actually change how we see all sorts of opportunities in our lives. And once we change those early experiences, or the way we interpret those experiences and realize there's a new belief, we can actually take the power out of that and change and open up all sorts of opportunities for us. So the next question is the powerful question, what else could be true? Could it be true that exercise, in my example, could it be true that actually exercise is easy? Could it be true that I can exercise every day by just making some small minor adjustments? Could it be true that exercise will actually make me feel so healthy and strong that in no time at all I'll want to do it? What else could be true? Then, what will you choose to believe about that now? What will you choose to believe? Because our beliefs and the meanings we place on things is actually your choice. You can choose whatever belief, whatever meaning you want to put against something. Did you know that? That makes you really powerful. You can choose to interpret things in however you want to every single moment of every day. And as you build up this muscle of questioning, why do I believe this? What else could I believe? And what do I choose to believe now? This is actually, I've found this to be quite life-changing in terms of just having a much more enjoyable and empowered life. Then the last questions, will your new belief be useful? Will it be empowering? If you say yes, then go for it. You've got the right belief. If you're saying it's really not that useful, then keep working on it until you have something that's actually going to help you. So that is the step of awareness. Then the step of nurture is the second part of this exercise. And don't worry if you don't get through that exercise. We can do it together in one-on-one coaching. The second step, if you've got all this way through it, is take this new belief you have just chosen and write it in the present tense as if this belief is already true about you or about the world. For example, I am a successful businesswoman, or about the world, there is an abundance of love and money all around me. Rewrite this statement until it feels like an affirmation that feels a little bit scary, but you hope that's one day going to be true for you. And you know that it's going to be empowering and helpful to you. Once you have that, then I encourage you to write it out, put it in a little post-it note in any places you'll see it, on your wallet, in your, wherever you pick up your toothbrush, anywhere at all. And whenever you see that reminder, that affirmation, just repeat it. Repeat it 5 or 10 times in your head. And you might even put it on your wallet so that if you're standing in line waiting to pay for groceries or something like that, or waiting in a queue, you pull it out and there it is, on your bus ticket, anything at all. And just keep repeating that and see what change that makes. So, as I said, this is really something that can shoot you up this triangle quite a lot in this particular area of meaning and beliefs, from struggling with a behavior to becoming aware of what is the belief and the meaning that you're placing behind it, to actually changing that so that you can start managing it and actually start doing the behavior that you're really wanting to do. So I do encourage you to try this out with something, and I look forward to next time we meet for coaching and we can play with this together. Have a great week and see you soon. Bye for now.